I was just very inspired and encouraged when I met with Prime Minister Abiy and I met with representatives of various ethnic groups. And there are a lot of issues that need to be resolved, but there was a sense and a feeling of hopefulness that I found to be very encouraging. And so the purpose of the hearing today is to hear from the State Department what the U.S. is doing, and also to hear from various representatives of the diaspora. So what I'm taking away from this hearing is each person that testified came up with a list of recommendations, and we're going to compile those recommendations and figure out what actions we take to be helpful to what is happening in Ethiopia to continue to move forward.
And the U.S., what steps should the U.S. take in terms of continuing the progress that we're seeing in Ethiopia and Eritrea?
Well, again, I think that's what we were evaluating there, and so a couple of concrete steps are for U.S. support to continue, especially to be helpful in the reconciliation process, maybe to be helpful with Ethiopia in terms of the census and some of the technical assistance that will need to be put in place before there are elections, which will come up relatively quickly. So ways that we could be helpful with civil society. I think there's a variety of things that we can do as the U.S. I think U.S. investment is absolutely critical, but one area that I want to explore is how to be helpful to the Ethiopian diaspora in terms of investment. And I know that a lot of the diaspora already is doing business in their home country, but what else can we do in the United States to help encourage that?
Any hopes in the coming 5-10 years of improving relationship with you?
Absolutely. I mean, not only improving relationships with Ethiopia, but hopefully with Eritrea as well. I mean, I think that the step that the Prime Minister made in terms of opening up relations, hopefully that begins to open up that society some, and maybe we can see progress on both fronts.
And last question, since you mentioned Eritrea, do you see the same progress that's happening in Ethiopia catching up in the country?
Well, I couldn't say that. I can say that the Prime Minister's steps that he has made are very, very helpful, and then we'll see what happens in Eritrea.